Greetings and salutations, viewers. I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hello.
He told me he was ready, and then I said the boy, and there was a long silence. Look how long that is.
It was a normal amount of silence. I vary it up a little bit every time, because that way it's, unique.
We gotta come in dynamic. We gotta get the Zoomer crowd. Much like our episodes where the...
Brother, we are unk, we are chopped, we are cooked, we are...
Why you gotta step on my bit? The video episodes, the gameplay where it eats the first half of the word I say. The Zoomers love that. The Zoomers love it when there's no space in between words, and preferably if you could just cut the words in half, even better. What's going on, YouTube? Smash that like button. That's the joke. Now he's looking at me. He's looking at me like I'm the dick. And he's right. Yeah, hi, Two Nerds Podcast. This is the first week of the new format where we have to be carried by the new format because we don't have a specific topic. There are two things that I think we're going to get into at length, and the thumbnail is going to show you what we talk about the most-ish. And also what I think might get us the most clicks. But this is really testing the new format out to see what happens, and I have a little bit of anticipation about that.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun. The new format's been pretty good so far, and I think it shall continue to be.
I have faith, for now, until that faith is ruined. But, before we get into anything, honestly, I say before we get into anything, but this is going to be part of the something. And that is what's crumping. What has been crumping with you, my friend?
Well, I have been continuing to watch Critical Role.
I'm so sorry.
The most recent episode of the Schemers Table it's not keeping my attention the way previous episodes have been, but up until this episode, I've been having a great time. I finished the third book of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh, did he crawl the dungeon?
Quite a bit. Yeah, that's kind of the whole deal.
It's starting to do the thing. The thing that happens to me when things are popular.
Yeah, I didn't recommend you this because I knew what was going to be happening.
It tipped over. The Ginny D video came out and I was like, that's nice. And then I started seeing ads for it everywhere and people acting like people did about Stranger Things about it. And I'm like, no, I hate this. And there's, of course, that fight I have internally of don't be like that. That's an absolutely stupid way to be. But I have had to start that battle. It basically is what I'm reporting on here.
The problem is I don't actually think you'll like it anyway.
Probably not, no. I don't really care for most lit RPG stuff. I say that as someone who is writing a lit RPG series.
As always, most of your best work comes from spite. I believe I can watch Daredevil now. I think the last episode aired.
It will be airing as this episode goes up.
Oh, good.
Or that night.
So this weekend, I finally get to watch the next season of Daredevil. That'll be fun.
I will get to it soon.
When you get to it.
I have commissioned work to do, and I don't know. That might take priority. The way my brain's been working lately, I might do both. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it though.
Aside from that, I can't think of anything else that's going on big in terms of activities. So what's been crumping with you, friend?
Well, and I believe I've mentioned this on previous weeks, or definitely episodes of the podcast that you guys might not see for months. Got to have those backups, just in case. But I started watching Wolverine and the X-Men, and I finished watching it this last week. And that's probably the biggest crump with me in recent memory. I guess unless you count, for maybe 45 minutes last night, I played Forza Horizon 5.
How'd that go for you?
Well, I don't like Forza games. I think they're a little too simulation-y.
I don't think that's a fair criticism to levy, given the things I saw.
Well, still mechanically speaking, they feel very simulation-y. They definitely give it an arcade presentation in at least Horizon 5. But it feels like... Guys, I don't know how to say this in not a mean way. I'm going to try really hard, though. That game, from Jump Street, wants you to feel good about yourself no matter what's going on. And I like positive reinforcement. I don't mind when, I lose a match in Marvel Rivals and Galacta's like, well, can't win them all. That's fine. That's a fine way to address loss. Loss is normal and comfortable. And you just have to get comfortable with it if you want to lead a successful life. I don't want a game to spend an entire opening series of cutscenes that I don't fully understand what's happening. Because as you assessed while playing, it looked like I was being teleported between different cars. Being upped by a guy I've never met, talking about how I'm the most amazing and best racer in the universe, when I am driving so bad. Comically, my mom playing SNES Mario Kart when I was 12 bad.
The sheer disconnect, oh god, what's the fucking up your own ass term for this? Ludonarrative dissonance. This is the star of the show. This is the best racer in the world. He's the centerpiece of this whole festival. And he just slams directly into a wall and then backs up and goes forward and slams directly into the next wall.
The only actual race I did, because there's a lot of overworld stuff that's kind of like the stuff I think looks cool in Mario Kart World Tour, was a lot of me driving through cacti to go the simplest point between point A and point B, the simplest route.
That was fun. That looked like it was a good time.
It was alright. But then I get into a race and they don't even let me drive my car. I gotta drive some other shitty car covered in logos for companies with questionable names. And I just don't... It's not my fantasy in the first place, alright? So I already knew I wasn't the target audience for it. Someone really insisted I should try this game and I was going to love it. And I went, I don't think so, but okay. And I have never been so...
Right?
Thoroughly vindicated in my avoidance of a title. I like racing games, but I think the most technical racing game I liked was the Midnight Club franchise. That's as far into simulation as I go. And that's not very far.
No, certainly not.
Especially when I was driving the smaller cars, when I got up to big speeds, I lost all control. I didn't have that much in the first place. But, really, it was the fact that it wouldn't stop. The only race I got into, as I had started saying, was against their stunt crew. It was a storyline race where they unleashed motorcycles and something else I don't remember.
You were clearly intended to win this race.
Yeah.
Those guys were not trying very hard.
No, but, I didn't. And they still, at the end, were like, wow, this is our sensational superstar, the greatest driver ever, as it lists me in second place of 2. And at the stats screen at the end, the time I spent in first place was 0.01 seconds. So I don't think that's accurate. This is bullshit. Praise me when I've earned it. And, maybe console me or give me, don't play up the you suck of it all when I fail. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I also play, Soulsborne games, so you died flashing on giant letters on my screen is acceptable. But, man, that unearned praise is just gross. I'm so glad I'm not whoever needs that. That sounds like a rough fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you got a lot going on in your life and you want a game that's invested in you being the coolest and the best and the smartest and the toughest, Horizon Forza Motorsports Mexico Edition? I don't know which one it was.
5, I'm almost positive.
You're going to have a good time there.
Yeah.
Also, you're not allowed to drive your car into the ocean.
No, every time I tried to go off track or take a shortcut or even in the open world mode, just do something goofy, I couldn't. There was no ceremony. I was just immediately teleported back where the game wanted me. I tried to antagonize some of the other drivers by ramming into them. I don't know if they were real drivers or if they were recorded ghosts so that they couldn't be upset at their own experience as the greatest driver in the universe. I don't know.
To have this giant boxy SUV just slam into them.
It was strange. It was a strange thing. But So yeah, I did that. I talked about it for half the amount of time I played it. Wolverine and the X-Men. I think overall I did not like this show.
Which is interesting because it's actually pretty popular as a version of the X-Men.
So
for having only one season.
Me as a person, and to its credit, it only had one season because of management corporate bullshit. It was between a bunch of acquisitions and mergers, and it just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I believe it had good ratings.
Yeah, people liked it. For me, I am character first. The characters are almost always the most important part of a piece of media. And the characters in Wolverine and the X-Men take a back seat to iconic plot points.
Oh, man. Yeah, they do.
Thought you had more to say there. Took a drink. Now the long pause is my fault.
No, I just didn't. I wanted you to have your spiel.
I don't know if it's just spiel so much as it's just an evaluation. It also hit at that point where I think a lot of us were kind of tired of the same fucking storylines. So when, we've got this interesting mystery, okay, what happened to Professor X? Oh, somehow he's in the future and in a coma right now. Cool. What happened to Jean? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It's the Phoenix Saga again.
Obviously it was the Phoenix Saga. I have no idea why you even entertained the idea it would be anything else.
I just try not to set up expectations.
It's going to be the Phoenix, or it's going to be Madeline Pryor, unless the particular adaptation has already done one or both of those.
Well, and she woke up and had amnesia, so I was like, maybe it is Madeline Pryor. Cool. No, not even briefly entertained. There was a part where a doctor is in the hospital room with her trying to get her to remember her name, and she has a bunch of names written on giant flashcards, which is the most... I mean, that probably helps, seeing the name might help you recognize, but just as visual shorthand seems ridiculous. Why do you just have these laying around? Is this the special amnesia wing of the hospital? Does every hospital come standard equipped with roughly 1/10 of all possible names written on flashcards?
I mean, honestly, even odds that nurse made those herself to try and be helpful.
Sure. She was nice, but Jean keeps going, I hate this. This is bothering me. Please stop doing it. And the closer the doctor gets to the J's, she's like, we just gotta go a little further. Don't worry about it. This is just a random woman. This isn't Mystique in disguise trying to do something. She's just plot savvy.
Come on, no, I can tell how agitated you're being. That means it's soon. The dramatic reveal is coming.
The dramatic reveal that everybody already knows.
Yeah, that's... Okay. So, this is a rant that we've gone on privately in response to this X-Men series doing this. Because I watched this as a kid. I had no need to rewatch it. I like Chris Claremont's run on the X-Men. I think it's really good. It might be the best run on the X-Men. I'd like other adaptations now, please.
Yeah.
Give others any...
Well, and to their credit, they do change a lot of stuff. Much like Evolution before it, everybody's put in slightly different circumstances, and sometimes those are interesting. They do a lot of later stuff with Emma Frost, and I thought that was kind of fun.
Emma Frost is a beautiful... one of the reasons I like that character, despite her interpersonally being, a huge bitch, is she's not from the 80s. And she's in most modern adaptations. So she mixes up the stuff.
I have bad news about Emma Frost's origins.
Well, no, her being on the team. It was from the 2000s.
Yeah. And it was a little different. And, at the time, especially in terms of...
I think she's integral to the Dark Phoenix. So she's a part of that. But she's a bad
part of the
guy.
Hellfire Club.
She's a bad guy.
She's more or less important than anyone else. And then she starts her evil school... which doesn't get touched on that much, but it is a constant presence throughout, I think, the late 70s, early 80s. Well into the mid-80s, actually.
But she doesn't... I believe she doesn't join the team until, the 2000s.
It's definitely after the 90s. After the big boom. It might be, late 90s, but I think you're right. I think we're looking more at the 2000s. You can check that as you like.
I'm going to.
She and Cyclops were actually the most compelling parts of this show. Magneto was until the last couple of episodes, but Cyclops is also upset here.
This is Edge Boy Cyclops.
And it's actually because he's one of the few people who's getting character development, because they boiled down Kitty to being a brat. And that kind of fades as the show goes on, but it's still the personality trait she has that they focus the most on. And it's just not, it feels very, and I enjoy these shows, but like, come on, let's do a little bit better. It feels very 1980s, Saturday morning cartoon, everybody has to have one personality trait sort of thing. Your My Little Ponies, your Care Bears, the original series for both, obviously. And especially in contrast to basically everyone else around here. Even Iceman, even Bobby Drake is a little more nuanced than that.
I mean, only a little.
Only a little. There are so many characters in this show, and while I like a lot of the background cameos, I question why we have so many when most of them don't get any development. I don't think Blink gets a single spoken line.
Well, I mean, probably because they got the rights to the character.
Sure, I understand that. It's a big, wide world. You want to show people off. You want to make toy lines.
You want to make toy lines. You want to keep the character relevant. You want to make... you want to keep people aware of that they exist. And, if I have a big chest of toys and I need a character, I need an action figure for this scene, what am I going to make up a new guy? No, grab one from the 400 in the back.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I don't know that they needed that many different characters if they weren't going to spend that much time developing the ones they started with. Wolverine, for all that he's the main character, and he is, doesn't get that much development.
Well, he's stuck in the role, he's stuck in a role that doesn't suit his character, being the leader, because he's, the most popular X-Men character.
Right.
And this was just after the movies, and it was after Evolution, where he was also a big breakout star in that. And so, they made him he's the lead. It's Wolverine and the X-Men. The rest of them are second billing. So he's stuck in this, center point position where he doesn't thrive. Wolverine is a great protagonist of a solo series. He's in a team book, he's not the lead. That's Cyclops. That's the reason Cyclops exists.
I don't even think he does a bad job. It's just that when he has moments to develop, they fast forward past them like everyone else. Storm and Angel apparently have a relationship in this show. I found that out at the beginning of the episode late season when Angel loses his wings, because they needed to establish that he loves flying, so he went on a romantic flying date with Storm, who I am learning as they're having the date is his girlfriend.
Yeah, sure, that might as well happen.
It was one line you could have said when Angel showed up when they were looking at stuff in the danger room. He could have said, "Any news on Storm?" and had a pouty sort of, "Miss Milady" look. The ounce of foreshadowing. Anything. Guys, give me anything for having all these characters in the show.
They were very busy showing Chuck walking around in his new moon legs.
He does that, so the future scenario is so... a lot of nothing happens until a lot of something happens, and then it doesn't. They get the entire master mold with titties rising out of the ground, and then that's it. That's the end of the future. It's over.
Well, yeah, because show ends.
Well, yeah, they fix everything, basically. And Professor X is like, "Wolverine, you get 50 good boy points because you did a good boy job." "How'd you know I did a good boy job, Chuck?" "I read your mind about it. I didn't ask. I don't have to. I'm Professor X."
Hey, you know what? In that way, most comics accurate Professor X adaptation in a long time.
Gotta agree with that. And I did appreciate that. There's stuff I appreciate about the show. I liked Magneto until the last couple episodes.
Well, you liked Magneto until he was revealed to be, I think, one of the more evil Magnetos in adaptation.
And stupid. He had a really dumb plan that he stopped thinking through. It's not that he didn't. He was like, "Man, this plan's so good, I think it's going to kill a lot of humans. I'm not going to think any more past the end of that sentence. Plan activated."
That's the only thing he needed to know. This plan's going to kill a lot of humans. Say less!
But I said say less! It's just, Magneto's not stupid. I don't mind an evil Magneto. I don't mind a disgusting Magneto. I think he's more interesting if he's a compelling guy.
He needs to have a case. It's he's at his best. I have a big Magneto rant.
Oh, yeah. It's on a previous episode of this podcast.
He's at his best when he has a case.
Yeah.
But he's himself a bigot asshole.
Yeah, when he is a hypocrite.
Yes.
And that's beautiful. I think that's the core of Magneto. He doesn't have a case here. He's
just an asshole.
He's not as nuanced as Senator Kelly or Warren Worthington II.
I feel like if you've done an adaptation of the X-Men where Maxwell Eisenhart, or all his many other names, is less nuanced than Senator Kelly, you did a bad job.
Also, like
I liked it though.
The last 3 episodes, the episode before that, the very end, the last 5 minutes before the 3-parter that closes out the series, suddenly the Hellfire Club and Apocalypse are here.
Well, they gotta get him in.
I don't think any one of them, except maybe, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, the main guy.
Mastermind?
No, the other main guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's escaping me. I can see his...
Shaw?
Sebastian Shaw, thank you. I don't think any of them have a line. They're like, actually, we're real good, and Phoenix is bad, and we're just trying to stop Phoenix. That's our whole thing. It's not like from the comics. And then Apocalypse literally, does his fucking frog face smirk, and he is not seen again until the teaser for the next season that never happens. Why was he there?
Because they got to tease the next season. They thought they were going to get a second season,
Look,
dog.
I get him showing up at the end of the season, but he's the Mouse Cthulhu, but he only shows up 3 episodes before he shows up. It's not...
They do no foreshadowing, you're upset. They do foreshadowing, they're upset. There is no pleasing.
It's foreshadowing that was pointless. It was sound and fury. It so relies on you knowing the comic.
Almost all comic book adaptations do that.
I don't know, dude. I think, so here's an example, a counterexample. And I'm not saying the 90s X-Men series was a perfect show or anything. It had all kinds of flaws. I don't think we should live in a world where the older and arguably dumber, because the writing is smarter in this in general, when it has time to do its thing, I think it's got some clever stuff going on there.
Better animation, too.
Yeah, I don't like the character models as much. It's not my style, but yes, I would agree the animation is smoother, and they can do better scene composition and stuff. There's less of Wolverine staring sadly at Cyclops and Jean make out. Nothing is in proportion. But Jubilee in the 90s X-Men series should not be a better Kitty Pryde than Kitty Pryde.
They did a bad... Alright, look, I've been kind of back and forth sassing or agreeing with you. I will just firmly agree they did a bad job with Kitty Pryde in the series.
They also did...
Kitty Pryde has flaws as a character, but
Agreed.
The ones she has in this series are not right.
They are an interpretation of the Claremont run of Kitty, but an uncharitable one that's focusing on just one aspect.
Like a mean one that doesn't like her very much.
Right, like you meeting someone on their worst day and imagining their entire character arc is based on that interaction.
And then, if you hate Kitty Pryde this much, just use somebody else.
Yeah, there's so many other characters. Also, Forge, what a terrible Forge.
Waste of Forge. Wastier Forge, making him... All adaptations of Forge are bad, except for the 90s, except for X-Men 97.
Yeah, that's a strong one.
Because they just did Forge from the comics. They just did Forge.
And you also already had Beast. You didn't need second worst Beast.
No, I haven't seen it, but I've seen bits of it. The X-Men anime, not the Wolverine anime, the X-Men anime, which also only had one season, has probably the best adaptation of Beast I've ever seen.
I haven't seen that myself. I'm curious. One last complaint, and that's Polaris.
I liked Polaris in this.
It's just not Polaris.
No, but it's a good character, and she's Polaris. She's objectively C tier. In terms of importance, you're allowed to mess around and do something new.
It just seems disrespectful. It feels like, and I don't think this is the scenario. I genuinely don't. It feels like the studio execs were like, you got to use Polaris. I said so. So the writers went, use Polaris. I'll show you. What do you like about Polaris? Invert all of it. I have no assumption. None. I don't believe that's what happened. But it's such a mean take that it feels like that's what happened. But that's me. That's me bitching about Wolverine the X-Men. I'm still glad I watched it. It was interesting. There's so much animation from the 2000s that I just straight up missed out on because I wasn't really watching TV. So yeah, that's the end of Crumpin'. This is how the show's going to be sometimes. Sometimes Crumpin' is going to be the main focus, and that's so wild to me. Before we get to any other segments, I do need to ask you guys to check the link tree in the description. You can head to our Discord and chat with us. We mostly talk about wrestling. Mostly the people on the board talk about wrestling. But if you want to talk about other stuff, we love talking about other stuff. I've got books in the link tree you can buy. The COLT REGAN series is modern fantasy, urban fantasy, whatever the hell they call it. Vampires and werewolves and shooting guns and stuff. And Red Company is only one book so far, but it is a pure fantasy, cozy, isekai lit RPG. The Patreon is also there. For as low as $1, you get content.
And you can be cool.
And you can be cool. We talk about cool people at the end of every show. You get gameplay videos a week early. You get access to any limited series like the Half-Life ones I'm doing this year. $5, you get Violent Profiles a month early. You also get a bunch of other exclusive video content. You can get access to TTRPG content with Wizards and Whites, my fantasy game, and Giallo Punk, which is the same setting as the COLT REGAN books. And you can also, at different tiers, request podcast topics and games for us to play. I am probably going to renovate those soon, so if you want to get in on the ground floor and get some cheap stuff, now's the time. Not a whole lot in the way of our nerd report, the kind of news we cover on this show anyway this week. As of you listening to this podcast, it should already be live. Phasmophobia has a new update where you can customize your character model. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I kind of like my character model. If you've ever played Phasmophobia, because it's all the same character models, you know the one that looks like the Russian Badger? That's the one I use.
There you go. I don't remember what one I use. I'm looking forward to maybe fooling around with it some. That sounds exciting.
Making a little man.
Yeah. Brought to you by our news hound, The Boy. We have a list of all the TV shows that are canceled or ending in 2026 from the Nerdist. Do you want to read these or comment on them?
I'll go through the list here. Hold on. I gotta reopen it.
He's reopening. Let's sing the reopening song, everybody. When we reopen a link that was closed, you think it's a secret, but God knows.
Okay, well, we're not gonna, nothing we say here is gonna beat that song, so let's just get through this. First up is The Night Agent from Netflix. I don't know what that even is. Do you?
No.
Alright. Do you care enough to look into it, or should we just continue?
It's Peter Sutherland's journey, so I guess a descendant of Donald Sutherland. They have fans.
Wow, great. Good job.
That's what the little blurb says. I'm sorry. He's standing behind, I think, a truck with a gun, and there's a fence and maybe a mushroom cloud behind him.
Gen V, or Gen 5, I genuinely don't know.
I think it's V because of the drug in The Boys. This is a spin-off of The Boys.
It's The Boys spin-off with, like, I think it's an original story. I don't think it's based on the comics.
It's the New Mutants, but for The Boys.
Yeah. That's getting canceled. From MGM Plus. I don't even know. That's
Today I learned MGM Plus was a thing.
MGM, thank you for going where I was going. MGM Plus exists. It has series on it, and they have just the worst search engine optimization I've ever seen. This
is the 5th season.
What the fuck? You know what? There's a thing that isn't in the nerd news list, and this is a good place to bring it up. Did you know there's a fucking Darth Maul series?
Yeah, I don't care. It's
an animated series from Dave Filoni. Of course you don't care.
No.
I didn't know it existed until today, and I like the guy who does Darth Maul.
I've heard it's really good, actually. If you're into that, I would recommend watching it based on what I've heard.
So from an NGM Plus, God bless you. You're doing some work there.
If we have overlap with the two people watching MGM Plus, I'm so sorry, you guys.
You know what? No. If we do, tell us in the comments. Sign up on Patreon. Yeah. Make us watch From. And then Talamasca: The Secret Order.
Oh,
that is fake.
Oh, it's an Anne Rice thing.
Oh, bro, I do not give a shit about that.
It does not follow any specific novel or original source material. So it's Anne Rice fanfic, like that Jesus fanfic Anne Rice wrote.
So it's in the Anne Rice cinematic universe?
Oh my god.
God, man, they're running out of shit to steal from books and comic books.
I don't think they are.
They clearly somebody's out. Star Trek Starfleet Academy on Paramount Plus. Man, they fucked Star Trek up. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they did that, but they made it bad. And like the pretty much all reports are that the spiritual standard bearer, the person keeping the bonfire of the spirit of Star Trek alive, is fucking Seth MacFarlane.
Well, the Orville was a good show while it lasted. Well, what we saw of it, the first season or two. I've not seen any of the new Star Trek stuff. I used to watch a lot of Star Trek with my dad. I actually started watching Deep Space Nine last year and was delighted to find that young me was kind of wrong. It's pretty good, but
it's just very dour.
Yeah, it doesn't always. Quark is still there.
Hacks from HBO.
Sure. This one doesn't even have a full sentence.
Well, it's a comedy series. I assume it's got a lady with a microphone. It's probably about like bad stand-up comedians. The Boys is finally ending.
I have seen one episode of The Boys, and I hated it so much it was really hard for me to get through that episode.
Yeah, it's really not your vibe. Not my vibe either, to be perfectly honest. I really kind of want to watch the episodes with Jensen Ackles because I like him as an actor. But I've seen his best scenes on YouTube, and not a lot to do. He's back in the last season. Good for him. I'll probably watch those scenes on YouTube later also. I can't care about The Boys. I'm too familiar with the source material. And I understand that pretty much everyone says this adaptation is way better than the source material. But there's a concept you might be familiar with. The fruit of the poisonous tree.
It's delicious.
Nothing that comes from that comic series is gonna be good. It could be better, but it won't be good.
I'm sorry. Can we go back to this tree? It sounds delectable. I would eat this fruit. Tell me more.
Perhaps later.
No, I can't. It's so cynical. It's so mean-spirited. I don't like anyone. Everyone in the first episode of this show is a fucking asshole. Nobody is worth watching.
That's the point.
I don't get that
That's
shit.
That's not
dude.
even an accident. That's everyone is an asshole is the point of the show. They're all irredeemable pricks. No one here is good. Why am I watching?
Precisely. I don't need like a shining hero. People can have nuance and depth. I liked BoJack Horseman and Peacemaker. But this is too far.
Okay.
This is too far.
I can't get the exact phrasing from the internet right, but the worst thing a fictional character can do is be unlikable. It doesn't matter if they're like a terrible person. It doesn't matter if they blow up planets and commit genocides. Though the genocides and planet blowing up are fictional. My annoyance is real.
See Jean Grey. That's something I do want to go back to very, very, very briefly, but it is to uplift your point. I have not liked any of the Phoenix Saga translations, adaptations, iterations, what have you. The original Phoenix Saga, though, was really good. And I only learned that recently. I assumed it must have been bad because all of the adaptations were so bad.
No.
And you know what? I'm not a huge fan of Jean Grey, but like, I'm not sitting here going, you know what? That bitch blew up a planet.
It doesn't matter, because like, she's likable.
Yeah.
It's much worse as a fictional character to be annoying than it is, or like a drag to hang out with, than it is to be a bad person. Peacemaker is a terrible guy. He's trying to be better, but like he's like a shitty person, but he's fun and good. He's like a good hang. So I want to watch his show.
That can't be said of Milkman or Accent Man.
One of the reasons I want to watch Soldier Boy, Jensen Ackles' portrayal, is because he's like a fun hang.
Sure, yeah.
But like everyone else in the series still sucks.
I don't want to get through all that you have to get through to get there.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is ending. He had a good run.
Yeah, I'm staying away from the politics of it all. Let's assume the company line is true, for reasons.
I mean, it's perfectly understandable. Boomers are not around as much now, and they're the ones who were watching The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, I don't care. I stopped watching late night stuff
pretty much
20 years ago.
When Conan pieced out and retreated to TBS, we stuck around for a little while, and then just
But we didn't even watch the whole thing.
No, we fell off.
We did. It was a fun format, but I don't know how well it survives into the modern era anyway. When you can curate your TV experience, is that what you're going to watch?
I watched some British chat shows, but they have a different vibe.
Yeah, the vibe is very different there. I like clips. You know, I'd watch a clip. Yeah. But, I'm not going to sit down and watch your whole show, and clips are easier to produce.
It seems like a lot of production cost for clips. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Norman Reedus is, he has my permission to have as many pointless, meandering spin-offs of a show that's sad. Get your paper, boo-boo. I'm happy for you. Sad it's over.
Whatever leads to him hanging out more with Hideo Kojima, that's what I want. That's the relationship I advocate for in this world. I've never watched this. It spun off after I stopped watching the original series. So
yeah, no. Outlanders from Starz. I don't know what the hell that is.
8 seasons over 12 years.
So it's man, sometimes I feel this is one of the reasons I wanted to go over this list.
Based on a book series.
Sometimes I feel so fucking old and out of touch because I don't know what the fuck that is, and I have no idea it even existed. It feels like we used to have a broader pop cultural understanding of the shows that are, and now it's like, yeah, this is 12 seasons. It's got a movie. It has a huge fan base, and I don't even know anything. It just blindsides me out of nowhere. YouTube stuff I get. There's infinity YouTube. But sure. Prestige television shows? I don't know, man. I feel like I used to know more about those. Good Omens is ending.
Good. I'm so tired of seeing crap about this show. I'm so tired of seeing that ugly red haircut. I'm so tired of the twee camp. I'm so tired. I hate the name Azrael. It's stupid. I hate that they pronounce it Crowley. That's also stupid. I hate it.
My feelings of it aren't as strong. I think it's probably funny. And I'm glad David Tennant's getting work.
I feel like both of these guys could have done other stuff.
Could have done something better.
Something that I didn't hate. And it's probably just the fans. I've never been the cooey twee type. And I get exposed to too much of that shit. My blood turns to bile. And then all the bile comes out of me. And then some guy comes and eats it. And he goes, good fruit.
That was such an amazing callback. The Witcher's ending. Good.
Oh, God. I hope. Sorry if that did anything.
Good. I'm happy. You should have not chased away your lead by refusing to... I don't even like the Witcher lore. I don't even care about it. I care that someone cared.
I stopped watching after he left. I really didn't like it that much before he left. It was interesting.
I was watching The Witcher because of his... Genuinely, Henry Cavill's passion for that project is what made me watch it. And then he left, so I'm not going to stick around.
A guy I knew was like, it's peak, 6-7. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll check it out. And it was okay. I really hated the stupid Bard song. Everyone was singing the stupid Bard song forever.
By everyone, he means me.
No, I worked out of the house at that time.
I was also singing it.
Well, yeah, you were among them. I didn't like the Memento way they, did the first season. It wasn't clever. It was needlessly obfuscative. It made it harder to understand what was going on, not exciting. Second season was better in some ways, worse in others. It was just not a well-handled show, and then you pissed off your main star, and in a way that said, no, we're making this show worse now.
And you're going to deal with it. And he went, I'm not, actually.
And so did I. I have no bond with Henry Cavill, but I was fine to leave. That was a fine time to exit.
All-American on the CW. I don't know what that is.
It's a
sports drama.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know what that is.
It says something about Ted Lasso, which is a mustache show.
No, they're just comparing it to a different sports thing.
I see.
I actually kind of like to watch Ted Lasso. It looks fun and funny.
8 years,
but it's
the
on
All-American one.
It's on like Apple TV, so I'm not gonna be doing that.
One last one, my friend. What's it called?
The Way Home from the Hallmark Channel. I cannot imagine that was good. Traditionally, the Hallmark Channel doesn't make things that are good.
Follows 3 generations of women who live in a small Canadian farm. Their deep family wounds and a time travel pond.
Well, that's all I need to know about that. Hope that whole thing with the pond worked out, ladies.
I hope it ends with all 3 generations of women going back in time to kill baby Hitler. On to wrestling news, or our reactions to it. It is another light week. I'm going to start with the lighter of our 2 stories. And that is that Kevin Nealon and Danny DeVito are, at the very least, pretending like they'd like to have a wrestling match in AEW.
Based, first off. Danny DeVito gets to debut his Trash Man gimmick, IRL.
It's the Trash Man and either Hans or Franz, whichever one Kevin Nealon was.
Oh, that's perfect. I mean, that does cement that it's not going to happen.
No.
Because Lorne Michaels will never relent.
But the other piece of news, which is, what a time to be alive. Another round of WWE releases, and this is probably not the last one. That might come this week, of the post-WrestleMania releases.
Which means we'll have more of these on the podcast next week.
Uh-huh. We see marching off into the sunset, Tonga Loa, JC Mateo, who you probably know better as Jeff Cobb, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the remnants of the New Day.
What in the hell? What in the hell? We already covered like the Wyatt Six, right?
That was last week, yeah.
Yeah. But like that, I get.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I get it.
Yeah, they weren't established super big. They were a tribute act to a tragically dead man. And there's only so much legs on that. And if they didn't feel like they had anywhere that they could take them, I get them going, you know what? Just have your career elsewhere. Handle your go forth, and best of luck in your future endeavors. The fucking New Day is an institution at the WWE. They've been around for how long? They have how many titles? They have...
Kofi is a 25-year veteran of the WWE.
Former King of the Ring, former world champion, an innumerable list of tag team titles. Once the longest reigning tag team champions. You took that from them. Uncool of you, by the way. And more to the point, solid talent who were happy to do their jobs, 2 solid pairs of hands who were happy to put guys over, who were established and had good, positive relationship with the fans. They had, like, social cachet.
Locker room leaders as well.
They were trusted.
Yeah.
by both the locker room and the fans. If the New Day were there, you're probably going to have a good time. I guarantee they still sold tickets.
Well, so what explicitly happened, as far as we know, I'm not a reporter, I'm reporting on what other reporters have aggregated. The WWE were told they had to cut their budget by several million, because this always happens after WrestleMania.
And this year's WrestleMania was particularly flubtastic, if memory serves.
Yes. So the New Day, after signing brand new 5-year contracts just a year ago, were asked to renegotiate to a new TKO deal that was a pretty big pay cut. These are guys who are reportedly making 7 figures, so it makes sense that they were an expensive act. But
well, yeah, you've invested a lot in them.
Yeah, and instead of taking the substantial pay cut, the New Day were like, no, we'll just get released, please. And the WWE said, okay.
Yeah, I assume there's probably some sort of, payout for the early release there. And
yeah, they got a 90-day non-compete because they were technically under contract when they were released.
But and the disrespect of asking such an established act to take a pay cut like that, you're already not doing great in terms of PR. Everyone's kind of mad about how expensive the WrestleMania tickets are, or were, I guess. No one's really vibing with much. And look, this isn't me talking. I don't give a shit about your fucking show. You burned that several years ago. I can't trust you to tell stories anymore. I don't know that I'll ever be able to trust you again. I'm not talking about for me. I wasn't coming back. For the people who were watching, I've personally seen people say that, this is the last straw. This is the last thing that they're willing to take from WWE. Why would you do this?
I think my theory is that the WWE, the TKO, believes they're too big to fail. And they have a pretty good safety net they're working with, because no matter how much people complain online, the ticket prices, the ticket sold, don't seem to be that upset.
You know what? That's actually they believe they're too big to fail, and they have a pretty solid case. You're right, because at the end of the day, the people who run WWE think you, WWE watcher, if you're listening to this, they think you're a pig. They think you're going to show up to the slop trough regardless of what's in it, to eat whatever you're given. Are they right?
Well, and the people taking WWE contracts, this is sort of a heads up, because you're not safe. If Kofi Kingston
if the
and
New
Woods,
Day isn't safe?
Yeah, you're not. The only guy at this point who I believe is ironclad safe is Roman Reigns.
Cody maybe also. He's secondary. I believe they would let go of Cody under the right circumstances.
Yeah.
They've built the whole company on the Tribal Chief's back at this point. He's probably getting whatever he wants.
Yeah, this is just wild. I'm not mad. I can't be mad. It means I get to see the New Day somewhere soon.
There's an outside shot. I get to see, Austin Creed wrestle again. Hooray! He's one of my favorite talents.
What if we get to see Austin Creed go at Kenny Omega in real life instead of on Street Fighter? What if we get to see the Adam Cole, Austin Creed, Tyler Breeze, and Claudio unite?
They could pull Claudio out of the Death Riders.
Danger's not doing anything. Get him in there too. There's so many options and opportunities now. That's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly said for never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake.
Sure.
But I'll if they show up in AEW or somewhere I watch wrestling, I'll be really happy to see them.
August is going to be very interesting. That's really the
Kofi's
big thing.
Probably retiring, right?
I could see Kofi retiring. I could also see him going, nah, fuck you. I'm going to do another run somewhere else.
I'm going to make you regret.
Yeah, I will make you regret
letting me go.
But Creed's younger than I am, so he's fine. He's getting his
Creed's
prime.
good. Creed's got 10 years, 5 to 10 years left before he would think about retiring, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. And he is so dedicated to setting up spaces for wrestlers to do stuff after they retire for whatever reason. I don't see him stopping that anytime soon. And the more companies he can foster that in,
the
better off things are. So this is rough news, but I feel like good things are going to come.
I'm mostly just baffled. I'm
Sure.
actually sort of happy about it. I'm just baffled.
These releases are the fire that's going to see healthy growth in the future. Again, August is going to be very interesting.
I'm excited.
All right, last segment of the show. We got a couple of questions here from actual fans, actual people on the Discord.
No, this is just mail.
It's just mail. Yeah, there's no fraud. Well, then we got to steal at least one question from somebody else. Hold on. Let's do one of those first. Just a really easy one. One I didn't already talk about. Do you watch TV show and movies alone or with others?
It mostly depends on the show. There are certain shows I feel are best absorbed as a unit, like as a group project. But some shows, most shows, I would say, the vast majority, are stuff that I don't particularly. I don't feel the need to watch with anyone else, so I'll usually end up watching them alone.
I find it's faster if I watch them alone because trying to watch them with other people requires a lot of schedule coordination. So unless it's important to me that I watch them with somebody else, I'll just watch it on my own time. Even if we're both watching something. Like we did this with JoJo's.
Yeah.
We watched it on our own time. Just because trying to coordinate and make sure we were both in the mood to sit down and watch a block of TV for the same amount of time with the same level of investment. No, that's a lot. I'm good. I'm all right.
But for like Fallout, we make the time.
Sure. Yeah.
Now that we've done a crime...
Yes, now the crime has been committed as we need.
Let's answer some actual fan questions.
Yeah, let's take two here. Let's take one from Destrucci KTL first, who has a technical question. Why at the beginning of the podcast do you offer both greetings and salutations? He actually asked this recently on our Discord. You too can ask us questions on our Discord if the fancy strikes you. We'll probably answer them there. We'll probably re-answer them on the show because it's great for this specific segment. And this is a question for me because it has nothing to do with you.
No.
And that is, I am making a reference to Heathers, the character played by Christian Slater, whose name escapes me because I haven't seen that movie in like 30 years. I was told it was something that he was referencing in an episode of Star Trek, the original series, but then I tried to Google that and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if that's true or not. But I was rather taken with that character as a young person, and so...
He has said greetings and salutations since I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
That was well before the podcast.
It was when I had more of an ego. It was a high sign for me to be saying, I don't know if you should trust me. I'm like quirky and dangerous and, high school shit. But it's just stuck since then. I just think the movie's funny and quirky and cool. And,
to be young and very much in love with your own conceptualization of yourself. I remember those days.
I had to be. God was watching. So thank you, KTL, for asking that. Let's get one from Thomas Austin Jr. as well. What was your worst experience at a job?
Do you want to go first? Or should I?
That was probably the time when, and I know now that I should have and could have easily refused to do this, I had to pick up an actively shitting old man who was apparently faking that his legs didn't work anymore.
To clarify for the people, where were you working?
It was a pet store.
Not, say, an old folks' home.
No.
A pet store.
No. Was that worse than when, after my 8-hour shift, my wife left me? And then I had to cover her shift?
At a restaurant?
At a restaurant, yeah. Front line at a restaurant.
That's a personal question. I feel like the second one sounds worse.
It does, but I didn't know that old man.
You know what? Buke poopy is probably more viscerally awful.
I had to clean up a lot of poop at that job. And then at least one more, Miss Swan.
Jesus.
So it's one of those two. Take your pick.
By contrast, mine is so much more, low-key. My worst experience at a job was not like one big, bombastic, awful experience. I had a job that was soul-crushing. I've had jobs that were shitty before. I've had bosses that that overworked me before. I've had jobs where I was overworked so long for so many months and didn't have a day off for several months, so I just quit. I've only had one job that gave me, like, a mental breakdown. I was a part of corporate America. I don't want to get more specific than that for obvious reasons.
Sure, we're not trying to slander anybody here. Well, they would be truths, but we're not trying to do that.
I'm not trying to.
We're not WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I'm not. I was a part of corporate America, and I was doing some shit that was so fucking evil that it made me realize every day I woke up, I was making the world a worse place. In like measurable ways. So I cracked. I fully had a breakdown. I quit that job that day. It was...
For the sake of the listener and their continued respect for you, the evil you were perpetrating was like making people's lives who were already really extra normally worse.
Yeah, I wasn't like killing babies or anything.
Or exploiting children or anything like that.
No, I was a part of a big machine, and I just started to do the math on... I can sort of vague this up a little bit. For anyone who calls for like customer help at like a call center, and the person who answers the phone has like an accent. Okay, somebody has to handle making sure like that those people come to work, and that somebody has to handle that, and it's usually someone in America, and sometimes the people real humans with human lives have terrible shit going on in their country, and then you have to be the one to punish them for choosing to come to work instead of while they're getting shot at. And I couldn't do it. I had to quit.
So yeah, if you guys ever wondered our moral stance on forcing people to go to work through being shot at, we're against it.
Yeah, it's bad. I couldn't do it. I had to stop.
That's a terrible place to be in, but I think you made the right decision. And I think you made the right decision for yourself as well, because I think you've been a more together person since then.
I've been a lot fucking happier. My job's a lot less important now, but I'm happy.
You know what else makes me happy and my non-important job functional? That's the people who are cool on our Patreon. And I hope none of you ever have to get shot at on your way to work. And I do want to thank you. Starting, of course, with our trash elite, a guy from Ohio, and Rob. Moving on to the rest that I still have such strong feelings for. DG, Kitty Holbrook, Drake Starstorm, Passion Killer 711, and of course, Destrucity KTL. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
I don't have a good outline. I'm sorry. You guys enjoy your week. We'll see you here next time, okay?
And if you don't, God is watching.